So you're the type of person that always sticks your neck out for somebody and then you end up getting betrayed. You always stick your neck out and do the most for people and then they turn around and stab you in the back. And this is a reoccurring thing for you. It happens consistently. It's happened so many times that you're just starting to think that it's your life pattern to be taken advantage of, for people to use your kindness and take your kindness for weakness. And part of you is starting to feel a little bit resentful about it. You're starting to think, why should I even do this? Should I change myself? Should I stop doing the things that I do because people keep betraying me? I know what you're going through because I've had the same situation happen to me. I've always been the type of person to give more than I get. I would give. And eventually people would turn around and stab me in the back. It's happened to me a lot in business. It's happened to me a lot less in friendship, but with relationships, that's happened with me. And for a while, it started to change me to the point where I'm like, I don't trust anybody. Why should I do anything good for anybody if I'm going to be betrayed anyway? And I had this mindset for a long time. So I completely get how you feel about the situation. But over time, what I've come to realize is that it's all my fault. Betrayal doesn't happen in a vacuum. Nobody just wakes up one day and decides after a long-term relationship or extended period of time, I'm going to hurt this person or screw them over. Now, you have to understand human nature. And understanding human nature is going to save you a lot of pain. The fundamental concept of human nature is that people are always going to do what's in their best interest. It's extremely rare to find somebody that does not do things specifically for their own best interest. And when we do, they're looked at as this holy character, as somebody that is just different from everybody else because they don't do things for themselves. They self-sacrifice. That's not your default. Your default, and most people's default, is to be completely self-serving. If you've ever been betrayed, you have to look at the situation in which you were betrayed and try to understand the person's perspective. Now, you might be one of those people that isn't completely self-serving, and that's cool. But the number one reason why I kept feeling like I was getting betrayed is because I expected everybody to have my level of loyalty. And you're probably doing the same thing. Just because you're loyal and you wouldn't do something, you assume that everybody should treat you exactly like how you treat them. And that's not always the case. Everybody's different. Most people are self-serving. If you're not that type of person, you're in the minority. And this is why it keeps happening to you over and over and over again. Because you're in the minority. You're thinking about others when the majority of people are thinking about themselves. And when you come to understand that and you accept it, then it's not so much of a big deal anymore. When it happens to you and they do some foul stuff, then you're like, I could see why he would do that or she would do that. You know, by understanding human nature, you save yourself a lot of pain and strife because you almost expect it. Now, this doesn't mean that you live a cynical life where you're always just on guard, expecting people to hurt you and whatnot. But if somebody does something like that, it's not completely out of character. It's something that is within the realm of possibility if you understand human nature. That's why I take complete responsibility for betrayal. Now, also, what a lot of people don't do when it comes to understanding why somebody would betray them is they assume that they're perfect. So they assume that they are this benevolent being that just does all good and is of perfect character. And the person that did them wrong is a horrible person and they're just evil. When the truth of the matter is that you are not perfect and you do some stuff that other people might not like. And the stuff that you do that you're not aware of might give that person the fuel to say, F you. I don't care how they feel, or I'm going to do this regardless how they feel, because there's something about you that is causing them to resent you. A perfect example of this is I had an employee. He's a young kid. I'm an older millennial, and I'm rough around the edges. I like to joke around and crack jokes, and jokes usually come in the form of little insults and whatnot. But really and truly, my jokes were masking how I really felt about him, right? There's a lot of things about him that I just didn't like. And there was things about him that I did like, but I would often comment on the stuff I didn't like, but I would put it in joking form, right? Now, I did a lot for this guy. I did a lot for him. When he did what he did to me, what I considered at the time betrayal, that's because I was looking at what I did for him and not looking at what I was doing to him. I was hurting his feelings by saying the things I was saying, and he was a sensitive guy, right? But I'm like, man, I put you on. I did so much good for you. I helped you make money. I helped you gain skills. I gave you a mindset that you carry you through life and keep you successful through life. But that didn't change the fact that I was consistently hurting his feelings. When he did betray me, it was technically my fault. If I had been a better person to him, that probably wouldn't have played out that way, right? A lot of people don't have the self-awareness to look at themselves and be like, hey, what did I do to cause this situation? For example, your wife cheats on you or your spouse cheats on you. The first thing you think about is how horrible this person is, how terrible they are for doing this to you, and you guys had a relationship for so long and you're so upset. But nobody takes the time to say, hey, was I paying enough attention to my spouse? Was I doing the things I was supposed to be doing? Was I keeping my promises to them? And in a lot of times, a lot of cases, the answer is no. So you can't look at betrayal as something in a vacuum. Like if somebody's doing something to you, you have to, one, understand human nature and understand that people are going to do what's in their best interest. And that's going to give you some peace because you know what to expect. And two, you're always a factor. There's always something that you did that contributed to the betrayal, right? If you keep getting caught up in that cycle, congratulations. You're probably a wonderful person that does things and does not think about themselves all the time. But that's not the majority, which puts you in the minority, and you're now putting yourself in a position, if you don't either learn to understand human nature or be a little bit more self-aware, where you're consistently feeling like you're getting hurt. You're consistently feeling like you're getting betrayed. If you understand those two things, betrayal is going to be a non-factor in your life. And remember, it's not about what happens to you. It's how you react to it. How do you react to these situations? And the amount of power that you give to these situations is going to determine the amount of pain you get from it. If you kind of know how people are going to be and you realize that you played a part in it, it lessens the pain a lot more, and you don't have to stay in this continual circle jerk of feeling like you've been betrayed. With all that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.